So the decision on who your best 26, that goes on every day. That's not the hard part. Telling a player who's been a part of your team, though LeMahieu, as far as I know, didn't play one single playoff game during the course of his 6-year, $90 million contract with the Yankees. Not one, but I digress. Hard to argue that DJ LeMahieu deserves a spot on the roster. Very hard. I don't know what the hard discussion was. Because he had been a longtime member of the Yankees, because everyone loved him in the clubhouse. I've had that. Those issues, when you're discussing them, they take about 45 seconds. Hey, man, this is too bad because we love him. We love him. The players love him. He works hard. He looks good. He helps in the community. Yeah, but we can do better. Okay. 45 secs. That's it. So I don't exactly know what Boone was talking about. But then you have to understand that the Yankees are in second place. They have to move Jazz Chisholm to second base where he's better and can hit 2 home runs in a game in a victory over the Mariners. And you know that you have a hole at third base because what are you going to do? I guess, you got a couple guys, but you have a problem. You can play Peraza there. You can play the new guy, whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is that your team as it is, you know this. You're not better than the Blue Jays. You know that you need to do something. And the question is, what can the Yankees do? Listen to what Brian Cashman said about what he wants at the trade deadline after he designated DJ LeMahieu.
Certainly love to import a starter, some relievers, because our bullpen obviously has been taxed and some injuries, and so an infielder as well, if possible. But that's a long list, and I'm not sure if there's if this will be a deep deadline or not. So I don't know how active we can be, but we will try to be active. I can tell you that, and we will try to import improvements. That's the gig.
I love picturing Brian Cashman walking into the clubhouse after that media soundbite and looking around and saying, yeah, I need better there, better starting pitching. Then he looks at the relievers together, walks to the bullpen. Yeah, I need better bullpens. That means 1 or 2 of you will be gone. Then he walks to the infielders doing their infield work. Yeah, I need better there. Hey, the outfielders are like, we nailed it. We're so good that he's not looking to do anything for us in the outfield during the trade deadline. What I used to say when asked about the deadline is everybody would like more pitching. We want depth. But what you really say and what you're supposed to say is we're looking to improve our team. We are wide open for hearing anything with any possibility for any player that we believe makes our team better. This way, I can still walk in the clubhouse. I don't need to talk about pitching, starting pitching, relievers, infielders, outfielders. We all know what you're looking for, and the players do too. You don't need to be that specific. Now, when you're at the deadline and you have started the meetings, because the deadline's 21 days away, these meetings have started. They start in March, believe it or not. So, you know that you have to go to your owner, because before every deadline and well before July 10th, the owner of the team, through the president and CFO, has it communicated to the baseball department where you are with money. It is the first thing that a baseball general manager is told. The owner doesn't say get a starting pitcher, get a relief pitcher, get an infielder, get an outfielder. No, neither does the president. What we say is you need to save $8 million. Come back with what you got, but we need $8 million taken off the payroll. Or we are in the race. We're willing to buy, add players, but we will not take on $1. Go out, figure out what your trades are. We're not taking on any money. Or we're in the race. We're trying to catch Toronto. We're willing to take on $3 to $5 million. And then you can operate and figure out trades. Listen to what Brian Cashman, when I just told you how it really works, listen to what Cashman said about Hal Steinbrenner.
We'll see. I'm going to engage everybody on everything, and I'll share all that information with ownership and see where that takes us. I've had deadlines where I've acquired talent that had to be paid down to make it fit, that we're making money. I've had deadlines where, I took on big contracts and stuff like that. So ultimately, the great thing about the Steinbrenner family is they're willing to they want to listen to everything that the market is, willing to bear. And Hal's always told me, do not assume, anything, make sure you take everything to me. And explain the thought process by the group and just keep me informed, and I'll make the final call.
Disha.
Meaning he will make the final call.
There was almost total truth in what Brian Cashman just said. It just sort of trailed off at the end. Yes, Hal Steinbrenner does make the final call. But if you're suggesting that the way the Yankees are run is there is no indication given to Brian Cashman before the deadline, that would make them the only team in the entire country, the entire league of Major League Baseball. Hey, go ahead, just bring me whatever you got. You want to take on $20 million? You want to shed $20 million? I don't know what the hell we want to do. Just bring it all to me, then I'll decide. That is the biggest level of mismanagement possible. And I know Hal Steinbrenner. That can't be accurate. Now, can there be an exception where Brian Cashman knows that his limit is $5 million that he can add at the deadline? When Brian Cashman says, hey, a lot of different things can happen, that's because when you're negotiating with a team and you're bringing on a player, the first thing GMs say to each other is, hey, what can you take? And if you say to the GM, I can't take on $1, then the GM of the player who's trading the player says, all right, if we have to pay for him, man, it's going to cost you this level of prospect, this level of compensation. But if you're willing to pay his salary, then thank you. We'll take from Pool B, which is a bunch of schleppers. No problem. The GMs have to know in advance what their owners want. Because what do you think? Brian Cashman goes to Hal Steinbrenner and says, this would be the case for every trade. He would go to Brian Cashman would go to Hal Steinbrenner and say, Hal, we got a trade worked out for LeMahieu. In one of the trades, they will take on his whole $22 million. In another one of the trades, we have to pay his whole $22 million. And the difference is we get player X you've never heard of or player Y you've never heard of. Hal Steinbrenner would look at Brian Cashman and say, dude, I could care less about player X v player Y. Trade him and have someone pay the money. Not happening with LeMahieu, of course. He's going to be released, and that's the end of him. But to think that GMs go into the trade deadline just, hey, I'm not sure whether we're able to take on money or not. It's not true. We tell the GMs that's the first thing they know is what's the money status. So Brian Cashman will go into the deadline, and he'll go to Hal Steinbrenner, and he'll say, well, we can get this starting pitcher, this relief pitcher, but it's going to cost you $8 million and you wanted $5 million. That's when the owner has to decide, is it worth it to go over my budget for trade deadline acquisitions? And so as a GM and a president, you're trying to convince the owner one way or the other. And this is where I had my fights with GMs, where sometimes the GMs would say, hey, please take on the extra $3 million. And I would say, you knew that we can't do this. Don't go to the owner because he's going to get super excited about this player, but you can only get this player if you go over budget. Lo and behold, go over my head, go to the owner. The owner gets excited. Before you know it, we're $3 million in the hole in the budget. These are the back and forth that go on as we head into July 31st. And frankly, it's the stuff that goes on year over year, time after time.